Fishers, what's going on? We are the Permanent Relegation Podcast. Typically, we do this show on a Tuesday, so if you're normally here on a Monday, you don't hear us. Yeah, you're getting broadcast out through there too. We do a podcast every other Tuesday.
Just got real.
Where we talk to pretty much anybody who will actually come on the show and talk to us. For some reason, we've convinced the PR guy from Indy 11 that we can have kind of like free reign basically on anybody we want to have. So for some reason, we talk to a lot of players, staff, things like that. If you want to follow along through Twitter, you can follow us at PR Podcast Show. I am Andy.
This is Chris.
Chris over here as usual.
What's my name?
Reading the Twitter.
Right.
We're going to get to our guests here in just a second, but we got some particulars. Yeah, they're going through social media.
That's right. The Mighty Ducks.
You got the Mighty Ducks too thing from this guy over here.
Yeah.
Every now and then you got some good ones. You get some good ones. So a couple of things going up for anybody who's an Indy 11 fan. There is an open preseason game at Grand Park on the 23rd against Butler. So if you guys want to come out to Grand Park and watch your Indy 11 play, you can go out there. It's free. Is it free to the public, John?
$5.
$5 to the public.
You can either get a foot long or you can go watch some good soccer.
Yeah, sorry. Which game?
The Grand Park one.
No, the Butler game is free.
Okay.
All right, so the Butler game is free.
For those of you who are going down to Evansville on Wednesday, they're playing down in Evansville as well. That's $5. The one in Grand Park is free. So,
Excellent.
yes. And then there is for those of you with kids, you can come out to Off the Wall in Carmel on the 28th for a kids meet and greet, which is always really cool. So we might bring our kids. I don't know.
I'll be in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, you'll be in Hotlanta.
I'll be in Hotlanta.
And of course, the Indy 11 gala is on the 26th, which is a Saturday, and tickets are on sale. They're $50. It's a great experience. We got to actually show our guests the video of.
I don't want to show them. I want them to just not know what's going to happen.
We'll be at the gala.
They don't even know what's happening right now. They're fully
answering questions, asking questions. Yeah, they got to order their beer.
Yep. Let's let them do that.
Yes.
So
you can use hashtag BYBcast to ask any kind of questions, anything that you'd like. We're live on YouTube. Make sure that you rate and subscribe us on iTunes. We're starting to go up the charts on iTunes. I'm a little under the weather today too, so I'm going to leave a lot of the talking to you.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, our guests this evening, 2 new members of the Indy 11.
I mean, we went really young.
Yes, we've got the young guys.
We got the young guys on the team. The young bucks, they're coming in. They really want to prove themselves.
Yes, the 30s table is at the house.
The 30s table, dude. We're all here. Right.
I'm only 24.
And you got this guy who's 45 over here, but
dude, 24 over there is like 45 over here.
That's true.
Nicki Paterson and Colin Falvey. Falvey, right?
Falvey, yeah.
Falvey. You know, I know
it's not as tough as
Ewan's. I get it. I get it that you're Irish, but I swear to God, as I listen to you talk, all I can think of is and yes, it's my American ears. It's Tom Hardy, dude. Tom Hardy. That you're like, no, it's he's got the tone.
Like him.
No, I do. I kind of want to hear him talk like the entire time because I like Tom Hardy.
I'll take that.
So, guys, welcome to Indianapolis.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And you guys have known each other for a while.
Unfortunately.
Too long.
Yes.
Unfortunately. So I think that was one of the first things that I wanted to kind of get to is that you guys have played on. Now, this is what, your third team together?
Yeah.
15 continents. No,
I think coaches now realise that if we play together, you usually will be successful. So whatever one of us goes, the other one seems to.
Who was signed first? Now this is like twins. Who came out first?
This is the first time he's been signed first.
So did you like, hey, we got to bring Nicki too? This is what's got to happen.
It's funny. We actually have the same agent, so.
Well, that makes sense.
No, when I'd signed first this time round, and Tim Hankinson, the coach, obviously asked my opinion on Nicki, and I tried my best to make sure he didn't sign him, but obviously, it obviously went the other way. But no, glad he's here. He's a top player, top guy, so going to be successful again, hopefully.
Do you feel like it's easier when you get to a new team that you've got somebody that you know and you're pretty close? I mean, I don't know how close you guys are, but based off some Twitter rants that I've seen between the two of you, but
it's friendly enough, right?
Yeah, it's friendly enough. But is it a little bit easier to kind of get acclimated with a new team if you have a former
I mean, I
coworker?
think soccer or football. I think soccer in the US is quite a small world compared to some of the other sports, and I think it definitely you already probably know a few guys on every team you join, but if you know a few of the guys, it helps the transition better as well. And there's nothing worse than going to a new team where 20 guys all speak different languages, different backgrounds, and it takes months to gel as a team.
Right.
If you already know guys and how they play, on the field it's good, but off the field we're obviously really good friends as well, so that definitely helps.
Oh, definitely. Along with just what he said, it's much easier that way. No, but in this job, you kind of get used to everybody fairly quickly because you're around each other 24/7. So
Yeah.
it's not as hard as transition as people think. But yeah, it definitely makes it easier when you know one or two familiar faces.
So tell us this dynamic. For those that don't know because obviously you can go on Wikipedia and we can learn your past. That's everybody. You can learn everything you've ever done in any country. So
Hopefully not everything.
yeah, dude, the internet is a scary place, bro.
Yeah, it is.
Scary place.
Yeah, it is.
Tell us how this dynamic came about. Where did you guys meet, and how did you build this friendship, partnership? Newlywed game, right? If I said Guinness, no, I'm just kidding. What would you say? No.
Yes.
Yes.
That's kind of how it started.
Yeah. There's a couple pints and done.
I was in Charleston, and obviously then Nicki came a year after, was it? Following year, yeah. And we were actually supposed to live with each other his first year in Charleston. And unfortunately, in that time away from home, he met his lovely wife. Which
that was a year later.
oh, sorry. But no, yeah, we became very, very good friends. Obviously, the Scottish-Irish connection helped,
Yeah.
and we like both sports Celtic. A lot of connections there. So
See, I'm more of a Hearts of Midlothian kind of guy.
anyway,
I'm just kidding.
You're having a good year.
No, I made a joke about this because in FIFA, my creative player, I had to come up through the Scottish Premier, and I was like, I guess I'm gonna be on Hearts. So it was like when I saw it play with Motherwell, I was like, God, that was one team that like I just could never score against. I don't know why, because they're not good. But it was just one. No, but no, they're not. But my creative player just couldn't anyway. So it's just funny because it's like, oh, hey, there you go.
No, but going back to what you said, I think it went even further back than that for us too, because when I came out of college and when he first came over to the States, we played against each other. I was at Harrisburg, he was at Wilmington, and I think that's when the mutual respect kind of came, because the two of us are players that like to have fun off the field, but when we were on the field, we're pretty serious guys and competitors. We want to win, and like I hated playing against this guy, just the same way, like just the way it was. But you kind of, that's how you essentially make friends in the soccer world. So when we found out I was coming to Charleston, he'd already been there, and we started to talk, and then it was like, I was like, where do you live? I live downtown. That sounds good. All right, let's live together. And I had to wait a little bit, and my visa kind of going through, and another lad ended up moving in, but it didn't really stop us hanging out.
Right.
Straight away we became
he
good
slept on
friends.
my sofa for that whole season, actually.
Oh, you were the guy on the couch.
Well,
We've all had the guy on the couch.
I've been guy on the couch for a while.
but no, I had the best of both worlds, because I could live downtown when I wanted to, but I could go back home to the apartments when I wanted to.
Yeah,
also,
that's
so,
true. Yeah.
But no, we became very close in Charleston, and then obviously that just carried on the last 5-6 years, whatever.
It's quite funny, actually. After the Charleston thing, Nicki obviously went to Ottawa a year before me, and they were looking for a centre back at the time, and obviously Nicki put my name forward and more or less pushed that move to happen. And likewise, kind of similar situation coming to Indy. So it's 1-1, 1-1 for the time being. So
See who gets. We're quite happy here for now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, it's probably because the weather is a lot like home
Right now. Jesus.
It's the weirdest place ever. My first day, I got sunburned. 2 days later, it snowed, and now it just looks like Scotland again. Like,
Well, it's what they say in Indiana. If you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. It'll change for you.
It's very, very true.
One of the things that we talked about chemistry already, and somebody that's already mentioned it on Twitter as a question. This is.
if you're listening, actually, that follower, we actually have to message back to that. Sorry, we haven't got around to that yet.
We haven't what?
We haven't answered his question, if that's what you're talking about.
Oh, no. This is actually from a guy named Adam Hollenbaugh.
Okay.
Adam, yeah.
his Twitter handle is actually ahole2323. So
Top notch, Adam.
right. Anyway, the question for him is, with so much turnover, roster turnover, how do you feel like the team is coming together? Obviously, you guys are new, but you kind of mentioned that with soccer, you guys are with each other, almost 24/7, especially in the preseason.
I mean, for me, I think Indy's doing what Ottawa did last year. There was a lot of
Which is a
turnover.
good sign.
There was a lot of turnover
Yes,
in
there
Ottawa's
was.
squad from year 1 to year 2.
Right.
They kind of get rid of half the team that were maybe a little bit younger, a little bit less proven on the field, and brought in some experience, some good signings. Whereas Indy's done that this year. They kept a lot of good guys from last year, and they brought. And the average age has obviously went up, but so is the experience, and guys have won a lot of titles and stuff. So, for me personally, on paper at the very least, the squad looks really, really good. And so far, the squad seems to have came together pretty well. But it's early days. It's always hard to tell in pre-season because everyone's at different stages. There's little injuries. There's those that I don't think you can really tell until you've played 3 or 4 games. How
Conditioning and such, people are on different levels as well.
I think the gaffer got it spot on with the bringing in players at a good age. I think
In their prime.
in their prime. Yeah, in their prime.
It's funny when you turn 30 in in soccer, all of a sudden you become a veteran.
Right?
I've been getting killed for this for like 2 months.
No, but I think he's brought in guys I think who know how to get the job done, along with the ones. Obviously, he's kept the ones that he's wanted, and I think the balance he's got right. So I think we're in for a successful year. Otherwise, to be honest, none of us would have came here if we didn't believe in what the gaffer and the club are trying to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Ottawa last year, I think outside of the organization, you looked at NASL and you kind of looked at Ottawa. You figured, okay, you kind of figured who's going to be the top in the league, where it was, and then you guys just went on a tear. Ottawa just took off, and you go, I didn't see that one coming. Actually, it was like it was a gel. It was a bit. See, you guys probably saw this.
A lot of people say that, we never seen that coming, but for us, it happened very early on because after like 4 games in the spring, we'd a period where we did the Amway Cup as well.
Yep.
And it was so early in the season, we picked up tons of injuries. We played every few games, which almost came too early. And then all of a sudden, we went on a 5-game where we didn't concede any goals. And the goals weren't quite coming yet, but everybody could see what was starting to get built. And then all of a sudden, a goal went in, and another goal went in, and all of a sudden, it did take off, He's not really Irish, is he?
What the hell is going on?
I mean, it's Strongbow. It's Strongbow. It makes sense. Yeah, Strongbow and ice.
It's apple juice.
Well,
He's got some apple juice.
Yeah,
You're just drinking some
cider.
apple juice.
Yeah, because it's cider. That's true. I had to think about what you actually order. I'm like, the hell is going on?
So
around
we
here?
only do this back home on a Sunday because you have beer on the Saturday, and then on a Sunday you need to obviously recover.
so you're drinking Strongbow.
It's got 100% vitamin C. I'm good to go. 10% juice.
I'm good to go. Yeah. So okay, and after kind of talking to the last show when we talked with Ursal and Jeff, it was one of those where kind of seeing the chemistry, bringing particular pieces for a reason in, and it's good because you have a couple different connections that are on here, and it starts with that small little pieces, players that play near each other and know each other. Obviously, the chemistry is everything because you can bring in all the money, and we talked about that as well. Is obviously, I hear one of you may be a Barcelona guy. No, good. Oh, thank God. Andy was saying this, and I was like, oh my
Never
God.
liked him.
Okay. So
Sini.
He's a Real
He's
Madrid
a
guy.
Barca.
right, as a Real guy, that's a team that just throws money at problems. Just throw money. It doesn't matter about the chemistry. It's like, okay, fire the coach. We're not playing well. Well, you brought in a bunch of guys that can't play together. So you could throw a bunch of money and get top-end talent, but you find those teams, and Barcelona happens to be one of the best examples of that, a chemistry thing. They get players that just play well
But
together.
they still spend money.
Well, absolutely. But I'm saying you can take it top end. You find a team that has better chemistry will beat a lot of times can beat a team with a lot of talent and zero chemistry. And
You see it in the NASL. I think the NASL is one of the leagues where that happens every year.
Yeah.
It's easy to say, but in Ottawa there was an identity. The coach, before there was even a team, because I was the first.
You were
and I
first
spoke
signing,
to him
weren't you?
very early on, and he was like, "This is how we're going to play. This is what the wingers are going to be like. This is what the forwards are going to be like." And that's what happened. He could then go out there and say, "For the budget that I have, who can I get in that sort of style?" Now, obviously, if you're paying somebody small money, you're not going to get a Ronaldo type player.
Right,
and I think you've got to be realistic about that. And I think that's where a lot of fans are like, 0-0 or a forward had a couple of bad touches, you're going to get that.
Yeah.
Although this is still a very, very good level. But I think this year, from what I can see so far, the coach has decided how he wants to play, and he's tried to get the best possible pieces for that system, and I think that definitely helps.
So you see, you don't have to go out and sign a Raul to try to have success in ASL?
Nah, he's past it now.
Colin's over here like, what? They signed me. That's it.
Exactly. Dude, come on.
Did you see this guy's tackle against Raul last year?
I saw the.
That's why I retired right there. I'm done. I am done.
That's it.
With players like that, and we've talked to a lot of players, especially with bigger names that come into the NASL. Is that something? And I know it's something that's good for the league, but when you guys are playing against these guys, is there a little bit of a chip on your shoulder where you're like, oh, these guys are coming in here just collecting a paycheck, and I'm going to go and take their legs out from under them?
For me, it doesn't bother. Honestly, it doesn't bother me. It's easy to say, but I just try to play as I play in any other game. To be honest, it's obviously a little bit of an extra incentive if you know who the guy is. Maybe he's got a big background that gives you an extra yard in your step or something like that. But
you're goading him into a Conor McGregor answer here.
He just wants to say it.
He wants to say that. Okay, who it is, anytime, any place. I'll fight them all.
I think you'll find the both of us play with a chip on our shoulders anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be some guys that go.
Why is that?
There was guys that we played with last year.
Yeah.
That for sure before the game we're like, oh, we get to play against Raul, and we're sitting there going,
who gives
if you
a
got
shit?
a chance, just go through them. You know what I mean? Like, so
when you say you play with a little chip, where does that come from? Why?
I think, especially
just back home.
Back home, you get brought up in a certain culture. Like when we were 15, 16, 17 coming through the pro setup, you have to wash boots, you have to do jobs, you're looking up to the older guys, you're scared of them, you don't want to even look at them, you know what I mean? Whereas young guys nowadays get treated like 10-year pros. So I think we just have a little bit of a different culture, a little bit of a different background that makes you like that.
I'll always remember my debut in the League of Ireland. I came off the bench, someone got injured, and the forward smashed my nose with an elbow, first ball. And I remember the centre-half playing alongside me, he was 35 at the time, literally picked me up and he said, sink or swim, son. Sink or swim.
Oh, my gosh.
How old were you at this point?
19, 20 years of age or something like that. But I remember it stuck in my head, and I think that's just the way it is at home. And,
it's a good tattoo.
It's I think it's just the way we are, where we brought up. And I think for me, anyway, I was only talking to someone the other day about this. If I lose that in my game, I won't. And same as Nicki, we would 100% not be the same player. And if I ever do lose that, it's time for me to throw away the boots. You know, so
it's like you lose your edge. What's the point of playing anymore?
Exactly.
I think the two of us are very bad losers, as you'll probably see also. And I think when you
hopefully they don't have to see that a lot this year.
No, and I think especially at home, that's something that has to be one of the most important things this year, because if you've got 10,000 people coming to selling out stadiums, you need to put on something for them. You can't expect a 0-0 or losing 2-0 every week, because they just stop turning up. And if we want to build something big here, which I really think it could be, then you need to get results at home. It's simple.
This is the third year now with the club. I think from the club standpoint, and the coaches actually said this to us. The fans have been great turning up, but now it's time for a little bit of payback, show some good quality, reward on the field, and that's we know there's a little bit of pressure coming on us this year to actually achieve something, and but we're going to embrace it. I'm looking forward to it, and I think definitely it was when we came down here and played last year. Most players around the league was excited to come here and play, because we always knew it was going to be a sellout, good crowd and good atmosphere. So
we took care of that problem for you this year. We just made sure season tickets, like a quarter of what they were last year. We're going to give you about 2,500 and build it back up to 10. I'm just kidding. He's looking at me. He's going,
Cluter's like, this is not official stats from the 11.
John.
He's not paying attention.
No, but I think, listen, that's the thing. If you win the first couple of games in the season, and all of a sudden there's a huge buzz, you know what I mean? Right. So it doesn't matter how many people are there the first night. The results are going to be there.
And according to Eamon Zaid, he's only here to put bums in the seats anyway.
So Eamon's the big signing from this year.
He's the only DP in the NASL.
By the way, he likes to be known as the Big Z.
The Big Z? Okay. I'll remember that when he comes in here.
That's his favourite one, he said.
The Big Z?
The Big Z.
Oh man, you're setting us up for something awful. Here. I'm tell you.
When he comes on, he'd be like, I hear you like to be called the Big
And
C.
instantaneously done.
This is fact. Quote from him. Asked him what
He actually
nickname
wasn't
wanted
happy
to be
that
called.
he wasn't invited tonight. He said,
Okay, here's the other thing too. We tried to get that's a colluder blame because
"Yeah, but you got to go through his manager. You know, Eamon's got a lot of
Obviously,
people."
he's a big enough name to come on the show himself.
I think the funny thing too is that you guys, you know, you got 2 Irish and a Scottish guy. Just
It equals out though.
Go.
Oh man.
See, it's exactly what I'm talking about. I like it because I think one of the things that there's been a lot of really heavy personality in the last couple of years, but nobody really like what you guys have had, even just in the preseason, especially just watching on social media. You mentioned it earlier where you guys kind of crack up and you have a lot of fun and you seem like you guys really enjoy doing what you do.
It's funny you said that because I think actually one of the reasons why we were successful in Ottawa last year as a team, that we had so many big characters in the dressing room.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing in football. You need some big characters in there because there is going to be times in the season where you're going to hit a rough patch and you've got to make sure you've got big enough characters to come through that.
Yeah.
And I think already, there's definitely some candidates in our locker room, that's for sure.
Who are they? Other than you guys, of course.
Other than the Big Z.
Yeah, other than the Big Z.
He's in a category on his own, though. He's
Gorka's a character also. Gorka and his satchel.
I mean, satchel.
He wears his satchel everywhere.
Really? Like Indiana
Just needs
Jones?
off for
and he's
practice.
got an Indiana Jones hat as well. Actually.
Oh,
It's funny
alright.
you said that.
Okay.
Good
Don't
lad.
ever call it a
He's got his
European man bag. You better call it a satchel.
He's got his own YouTube channel. Check that out. Actually.
Wow.
Oh, well then.
Um,
Check out Gorka's YouTube channel.
All right.
Big Bushy's a character.
Spanish
Bushy,
YouTube
Not
slash.
Big Bushy, but
Okay.
Bushy, Sini. When
Sini's a good lad.
when Sini goes into one of his Serbian rants, it's quite hilarious.
yeah, Sini and Vuko, I have no idea what they're saying to each other, but it's good.
So, I got to ask because when you kind of get into the character-wise, so a guy who's a little more quiet on there, but are either one of you big movie guys?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
movies.
Have you gone to a movie with Dragon yet?
Has Dragon asked you to go to a movie yet?
No, he hasn't.
Because Dragon goes to like probably 4 movies a week when he's not practicing.
He's seen every movie that's ever been at any time. Basically, once you leave practice, assume Dragon is off watching a movie.
It's funny you said that actually because I lived with him for the first 5 days in a hotel. We 2 of us had a room together when we first got here.
And then you saw the bill, and it was like rental. No, I'm just kidding.
He must have watched like 7 movies in a row one day.
Yes.
It's funny you brought that up.
Yes.
I said to him, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm watching a movie." I was like, "That's your 6th one today."
Right.
I mean, that's exactly
He's
what it is.
a great kid, though. But he's
I haven't
think
watched a
he's quite-
movie since I had my son 8 months ago, so I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you what's happening in the world, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
We're not sure if it's his yet. But
It kind of
It
looked
could
like
be
you,
the big
right?
Z.
Very good looking boy.
The Big Z. Oh my God.
It's definitely not the Big Z. My missus wouldn't go there.
Oh, and I heard that you recently are officially a driver in the United States as well.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
How did you get around previously? Just illegally? There's no Fisher's cops in here. It's okay.
No, I mean, I'd always drove, but it was always the club kind of provided the car. It was always like a rental or a
Sure.
deal through somebody.
Yeah.
And always had the Scottish license. Then I went to Canada and played for a few years. And they basically take your UK license and just give you a free Canadian license
Yeah.
when you get there.
You're like,
So
oh,
here I
excellent.
had to do another written test, a driving test, go to the BMV about 17 times. And then
Yeah, how
eventually
was
they
your
gave me
Indiana BMV experience?
It's amazing.
No comment.
They are a partner of Indy 11.
Fantastic experience. It was great.
This is why we never invite Cluter. He just kind of shows up.
Hey, with that about it.
Leave the scarf. Leave the scarf.
I didn't even know he was there.
Yeah, I know. Now you can say
I like
whatever you
he
want.
just. I like that he just got a beer and
got-
then he just
That's
left.
exactly what he
Lovely
said.
sweater vest.
He told me over
we've
text
got
message.
to pay for it. I think that's why you left.
Yeah. Huh.
I see how it is.
Good to see you, bud.
You forgot to pay your beer.
Yep.
That man is walking out on his check.
Fishers, please get him.
Anyway,
God, sorry, that just totally threw
okay.
us all off on here.
That's
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 all
what
right.
happens. We tangent off into this craziest.
So, kind of rounding back when we were talking about having the personalities, but also hating to lose, being sore losers. Here's some of the most successful athletes, period, in the world, and those that have had success. You always hear them say the same thing. I hate the feeling of losing more than the feeling of winning. Like, I hate to lose more than I love to win, because it's winning is great, but when I lose, I know that either we didn't execute, maybe I didn't leave it all out there. There's something that could have been done, and I hate that feeling.
I think it's, for me and Colin, I know we're the same. I share the same opinion. We're kind of work hard, play hard type of guys. And if you work your ass off all week and you play the game and you win, then you enjoy a couple of beers and you blow off steam and then you start again the next game. Or sometimes you have a midweek game, you have to pick and choose your times. But if you lose, you're not even interested in doing anything. You don't want to talk to anyone, you know. And having a son and stuff helps.
You just can't compare. You can't compare the two feelings. It's for me, it's
miserable.
Miserable, yeah. It's,
right. I think that's what they're saying. Is exactly like, I don't want that feeling. Like,
so just arrange a night out for after every home game. And we totally fine.
You said having a son kind of levels it out too, and you're when you have a kid, it's like the losing sucks and everything like that, but you're like, hey, I got this. I
created this life.
Well, that's the thing.
Life.
He's created 3 of them. So
if I lost, that he knows about. If
he's paying for it.
Well, 2 of my daughters are teenage now, so it's painful.
All the best with that.
Very painful. Thank you. Thank you.
So you're a new father. First,
yes.
What's now that you're still an athlete and you're still training all the time? How is that work-life balance, I guess, different for you now? Because it's just your first year playing as a dad, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I had my son 8 months ago, so it was June of last year. And to be perfectly honest, I think to be able to be a pro athlete and raise a family, you need to have a strong wife. And my wife is second to none in that department. She's unbelievable. We just went to Arizona for 9 days. We literally moved into a house the day before.
Oh, wow.
So I left her in the lurch, in the deep end, and she dealt with it, and that's huge. And last year, I don't know if you guys are aware, I tore my ACL also, literally the day after I had my son.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was, like you say,
Your poor wife.
I know.
Oh my God.
She literally had a baby, a 40-hour labour, and 2 days later drove me for an MRI.
Oh my God.
But no, it's the thing is, you come home after practice, or if you come home after a game or something and you've lost. Usually my wife would be like, cheer up or whatever, and sometimes it would change my mind, sometimes it wouldn't. But when you've got a son and they don't know the difference, right? So, like, if you come in and you be mad, you're taking something away from them that they don't deserve, and that's kind of like, it's almost made me grow up a little bit in that sense, but it still doesn't make me want to lose anymore.
Right.
So
does it make it that much?
Well, now I'm
stain?
playing for my son. Now I want to make him proud, and I want him to play soccer as well. So
yeah,
I want him to see as many wins as possible.
So you got like what, 6, 7? I mean,
do you know Colin's the 7th son of a 7th son?
What?
In Ireland,
that's like Braveheart shit right there.
Apparently, yeah. Supposedly, I'm meant to have mystical powers. So.
Oh, really?
So she said. It is.
True.
So your number needs to be 7 then.
No. No, actually, I've worn squad number 32 all my career. So
That's how many kids he has.
32.
32. I was just all around. You just
I
don't
wonder why
know.
he keeps moving continents.
it's cheaper this way.
If you don't have a country of residence, they can't get you for child support, right?
He's not paid tax since 91.
Oh man!
So much for the BMV comment. Now we're throwing Colin under the bus for IRS tax evasion.
Great. Excellent. So 32. So why 32?
It was just my first number.
Okay. Didn't have any significance. Just they gave it to. It was like young rec league, and they just threw it to you. You're like 32. Looks good. All right, I like it.
So just kept it. Yeah.
Okay. Any significance for you on a number?
I've been number 8 for about 10 years. Growing up, Steven Gerrard was my favourite player. Although I wasn't really a Liverpool guy, I just liked him, and I mean, I'm pretty much like.
Yeah,
number
you
8.
should probably keep it.
So, so that was one of my first questions to the coach when I signed. 8's available, right?
Well, yeah,
Otherwise,
Cleverson's
there's no
gone,
deal
so.
Yeah, that's funny because no, I've been 8 since I was in Little League. My last name's Ball. And so it's always just like, C-ball or 8-ball. Yeah, that period, like just roll through. So, yeah, and it's funny. Like every creative character I've ever done has been number 8. Every sport I've ever played has been number 8. That's just
I think it was
what I do,
always,
so.
when I was younger, it was just the position I played. I was like a box-to-box midfielder.
Traditional
And
midfield.
I just always had it. The
Gotta take it
team I
back
was
to
at
technical.
first, we
Okay.
had like squad numbers for training, but it was always 1 through 11 back in the day. But it was 1 through 11. It seems like forever ago since that was the case. But yeah, I just kind of get used to it, and I'm pretty superstitious. And that was it.
We like to kind of go through that journey too of like
Take us to the journey.
Yes, take us to the journey. Not the sushi restaurant on 96th Street. But
You plugging for them or what?
I don't even know where that one came from, actually. That's so bad.
sometimes I have no idea. It's okay.
Dude, it's a weird place up in here, man. It's a weird place.
Was it always going to be soccer since birth? I mean, did you have any? Yeah. So
Or
it was
any
one of those
hurling?
things where-
No hurling?
Oh, there was, yeah. And then my dad thought it wasn't a great idea for me to be running around with a stick.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's take whatever weapon out of his hands and just make him use his feet.
Yeah, so
I think it's very different at home than it is here because you grow up here and there's endless opportunities, and the money's definitely not in soccer, it's in everything else.
Sure.
But for us, it's everybody wants to play soccer. If you're heavy or you're bigger, you maybe play rugby. If you can't play soccer,
or you play on goal.
or you play centre back.
Dang.
He plays.
But then,
Let the record know that he just learned it called.
every
Every now and again, he's good for one. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
but yeah, I mean,
I like it.
I think most soccer players will play golf as well, maybe in their spare time or something else. You know what I mean? But for
drink.
for the most part, it's soccer's the only sport back home.
So golf is, I mean, it's obviously the birthplace of the sport there. So, I mean, did you grow up playing golf as well?
I play golf.
Do you still play?
Still play, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, now you're getting, he's like, hey, you want to go out?
You decent at ball?
No, I play not as much as our past guest.
Oh, Christian?
No.
Christian plays a lot.
No. Oh my gosh, other keeper.
Keith.
Oh, no.
No.
John Dawson.
Yeah, John Dawson. Back then, John Dawson was as much as Dragon would leave practice. Dawson would leave practice and he would go play 18 or 36 holes every day.
Yeah,
he
I'd
would
be
just play.
divorced in a week.
Right. I was gonna say you're probably not gonna have a lot of time for this. So I mean, with everything you just laid out there, you should probably be home for next. Yes, please.
Not a Guinness.
Yes, please.
Every 2 weeks we'll have a double session.
Yeah.
It's training that
Yeah.
they'll be on the golf
Right.
course.
That's at this point now. I'm my schedule has changed dramatically, so I've had to spend the last 2 years just trying to find random times to play. But it's like if you find the itch to play, it's a different game than anything. I grew up as a bowler as well, so bowling here. And golf and bowling for me are very similar because
You can drink beer.
yeah, absolutely. Right. You could drink beer, but it's not you against whoever you're playing with. I don't give a damn what you're doing. However you play has no effect on me. Where versus playing soccer or anything else, no, you could directly affect the way that I play, but it's me versus either nature or versus that oil pattern, and it's all mental. It's all mental in here. So I think I really like those because I always find I'm my worst enemy and my worst opponent. So if I can beat myself, then I go, all right, that sounds weird.
See, my dad always said to me, obviously I always wanted to play soccer as well, and he said, look, I want you to take up something that's individual also, like golf or tennis. And tennis is a bit more English, to be honest, but golf, golf is a sport where didn't really know how to put that one, but no, golf is always, you only really play golf seasonally in Scotland. I mean, nobody's playing if it's cold for the most part, but yeah, it's a game where you can switch off, you can get out some frustration, and it's pretty fun for me also. So.
Speaking of, I think they have a indoor golf thing that they're going to be building in Fishers.
Yes.
Like
you're
next
able
year.
to go. Yes. Basically, you have a waitress. They come. They bring you drinks. They bring you food, and it's got an entire. It's indoor.
Golf, basically.
Yeah. It just basically
There's one in Glasgow already.
Oh man. Yeah. What is it
Successful.
called? It's called. It's not Golf World or something. It's some major chain that's across the country.
Pitch and putt.
Kind
it's
of Top
just
Golf. Is
basically
it Top Golf? I think it's Top Golf. Basically, and it's giant screens, and you play an entire 18 indoor. But they bring in. You have a giant party in there.
The only hard thing is, it's pretty realistic apart from the putt.
Right.
Yes.
From what I've heard. Like,
So do you guys have other sports that you follow? I mean, what are your, first off, what's your club that you guys usually, do you guys both follow the same club?
Celtic.
Celtic?
So I'm Celtic, obviously, with the Irish connection. It's just you're just born that way.
You're supposed to.
So,
It's just the way it is.
but no, I actually grew up like supporting Newcastle.
Okay.
My older brother.
Sorry, something's stuck in my
You all right? You need another Guinness?
I don't like the championship, so I don't follow those small
Yeah.
teams.
Wow.
Good
Okay.
Lord. All right.
Well, all
We're
right.
pretty poor at the minute.
And
They
we're
lost
just
to
taking
Leicester
it.
today. Huh?
Yeah, they lost today, but actually it was probably the only time I've ever been okay with them losing because I actually want Leicester to win the league very badly.
I'm a
For the sake
I'm a
of-
United guy, and I want to see Leicester win.
I think the whole of football does because I think they've been great to watch, and I
Yes.
think it
They
just
deserve it now.
yeah,
And we
there was,
talked about
there was
it.
an amazing goal on that game today too.
it's
Yeah.
great finish. But it's just if they win it for me, it'd be like a big FU to
Right. The
all
throwing money,
United and
the Man
Arsenal
Cities.
and
to the way,
Right.
it'd be a big FU to the way football has gone.
Sure.
Can you imagine Leicester in the Champions League group? Leicester
Dude.
against Madrid. Leicester against.
They just
Barcelona.
interviewed the coach the other day, who's like, "Well, we're just trying for a Europa spot. That's all we're really trying to do."
yeah.
Like, sure you are, buddy. You're not looking at the top
They're
of the
going to
table.
make sure
going,
that you
"Okay,
guys have
we're
that
5
spot.
points
Actually,
now."
he's
doing
going
a
to
good
make sure
job
you
to-
have that.
But
He's
here's
doing
the
a good
thing,
job.
when you look at that Leicester team, they've had virtually the same starting 11 the whole season. They've got an identity. They know how they don't change just because they're home or away. They play the same way.
Yep.
I think too many teams will. Oh, we're going to Man United. We better sit in, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean. They're just like, let's just go every game. And
See, that's how Wolfsburg's been though this past year. So Wolfsburg, a lot of people, if you're not a big Bundesliga guy, you know the big clubs there. But then Wolfsburg comes in and they're really really good, and they put it on some people, and you go, oh well, how are they going to do in Champions League? And then the round of 16, and you go, oh well, huh. So that's for me. Leicester plays in a style, again, not a ton of money into. They have some good talent, but again, they have really good chemistry. They play well together, and they're very, very. I don't want to play. I won't want to play them.
The thing what's stuck in my head as well, after the games, when Leicester play, any of the coaches or the other players I've played against them, a lot of times this year they've said like that it's very frustrating playing against Leicester.
Yeah.
I've heard that like by so many coaches and players watching interviews, and that's a huge compliment. That's like
Yeah.
if you're that frustrated against the team, you're doing something right, you know.
See, like you're saying, if you look at that team, every single player in their team has a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
They all have something to prove. They all have.
They've all been passed over by another team that they're like, you're not.
Exactly, and I think
too
that's
small,
a
you're
very dangerous team to play against. And the coach has just found a way of making them just play one game at a time.
He's taking the pressure off him. As he said, he's looking for Europa League football.
Like, there's no doubt in every one of their minds, they're like, oh my God, we can win the league here.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they're thinking that. The big thing is if they win the league, then are they going to invest to keep that squad, or is Barcelona going to take Mahrez, or is somebody going to take Vardy, and then all of a sudden they have a League One team in the Champions League?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's been picked clean, and
Yeah.
Well, and then that goes to the higher ups at Leicester, who's going to go, okay, what do we need to do to keep these people here?
Do they have the budget to be able to do so? That's
Well, when you get Champions League money, then you have a little bit to throw at 'em.
Someone high up there made some very good decisions. It looks like now because every day in January I was waiting for somebody to leave from the team.
Oh yeah.
And they got through January with the same squad and I think they actually brought in one or two. So
It feels like that team has a buy-in too. Not only the chip on your shoulder, but they're there to.
Were you wanting water?
He's coming.
Oh no, it's right there. Yeah, they put it over there for you. You're good. Yeah, you're good. There
We're
you
all
go.
right.
You already,
Sorry, you got extra.
here's extra.
You got extra.
You were never doing much over there, so
What's that?
just chilling over
I
there.
know. You guys all right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. He's getting some more Guinness.
Yeah, we're good. All right, so we know club wise. So player wise, growing up, who was somebody
Gerrard.
Gerrard got that.
That's right.
Gerrard, right. Anybody else that maybe you emulated your play style after, or just somebody that you grow up, you're like, I have to watch this person play.
no, again, I was because obviously Newcastle were terrible. So as Nicky's clearly pointed out, So I ended
You
up
got Rafa now though.
right. I ended up following some players. Obviously, Gerrard. I love Gerrard. The way he played, got after Roy Keane. Obviously, being Irish, very similar to Gerrard as well. No, I actually watch football. I actually like watching the Brazilian boy for PSG, Silva, the centre back. I think he's got everything. He can play. He's tough. I think he's
Eric's
the best
always-
in the world. He's the best in the world right now. I think centre half wise. The boys, well, Bonucci at Juventus, I think is very good. But just our area, I like Zidane. I mean, there was some great players.
No,
Sure.
yeah.
I think we were very fortunate. Well, another big difference of being at home is soccer's on constantly
Yes.
every day. Kind of like it is here now, but when I
Right.
first came
But
out
that's
here,
new for us. That's
When
we
I
were
first
talking
came-
about-
Yeah,
in
you
the
grew up
States.
with that. That's new for us.
when I came to the States in 2005, there was a 1 hour highlight show every week. And I missed that class every week because I stayed in to watch the games, you know what I mean? But now it's on all the time, and I think the kids that want to play soccer are watching all the time, and that's how you become good because you start to understand the game better. Like we both played with a guy that's in MLS right now. I won't name him, Lamar Nagel. He played soccer for fun, but watched basketball. He didn't care for watching soccer. And I always say to him, "You'll learn so much by just watching it," and he totally disagreed.
It's weird that you say that too, because one of the things that we
last
have
season, almost everybody we talked to was like, I don't watch.
last two.
I don't watch it.
Almost every
I don't watch
player
it.
that we talked to was just like, I don't watch
they
soccer.
finished it.
Yeah,
That's your employer there.
I'm just gonna do that. But yeah, no, we
You hear that? You can take some lessons. Listen to the truth.
I think some of us,
So you can actually learn something if you watch it.
and it's like we could understand part of it where it's just like it's been their lives for so long that they're just like, once I play, once I'm in the game, I'm done. I'll go watch basketball or baseball or whatever.
I can understand why Americans are like that because, like I said, there's so much.
These weren't
choice here.
Americans, by the way.
They
weren't
not
Americans.
Yeah. So you got nothing. I got nothing.
But for us, we were very fortunate. We grew up when Man United dominated
Yeah.
that team that we grew up into. Like my dad was a Celtic, Man U, Real Madrid fan, so that's kind of where I fell into.
Sure.
You had Giggs, you had Cantona, you had Scholes, you had everything, you know, and that was for me. That was just how football was meant to be played.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't know. I think it just you grew up expecting that's how everything is. So when you look at a Man United team now, you think something's not right there, or whatever.
Well, you sit and you hope for something to happen, and they didn't make really any moves in January. So you're like, okay, so maybe they're trying to get this core group. But like you said earlier, there's a different lineup every time because Van Gaal has no idea what he's doing. He's throwing stuff at a wall and hoping it sticks.
Yes.
And when it does, he'll change maybe one or two players, but still, there's still all that stuff that's.
I think the biggest problem at United now is they've changed their style. They always had an exciting.
They're defensive. They're defensive now, and United's not a defensive team.
Yes, and
Playing
that's
more
why
like Chelsea.
that's why a lot of the fans there are unhappy.
I seen a thing the other night after. Wasn't the game Manchester played yesterday, but it was the weekend or something. Whatever the last game was.
The Liverpool game.
Yeah, and it was Steve McManaman, Rio Ferdinand, Paul Scholes were in the studio, and it was 30 minutes. They were trying to talk about how Liverpool had done well, but it turned into how Man U played bad. And Rio Ferdinand was just like, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. But Scholes, out of nowhere, just started ripping into everyone and was like, I mean, Lallana's running around. Why did somebody not just go and smash him? That's what we used to do if somebody was playing well. And just really, really simple things. But he's like, we used to have two wingers. We used to have two flying fullbacks. We used to have two good forwards, two strong. He's like, we just don't have it. He's like, I don't know what we're trying to play right now.
But I think that's a microcosm of if you look at the whole EPL in general, it's off. It's weird. I don't know if it's a talent thing. I don't know what's going on. But the quality of football in general
Chelsea
is
for
not
half the year was almost like relegated.
It's not the same. Like if you watch some of the top teams in other leagues and you play, and then you watch a game in the EPL, you go, it just looks sloppy. I don't know what do you think the difference is now? It's definitely different. It's a lower
kind of what I
class.
said earlier. Like Real Madrid plays Levante or something.
Yeah.
Levante go, shit, we're going to park the bus here and see if we can get a draw.
Yeah.
And Real Madrid are so good.
Let's
that
not
they
get
beat
six. Let's not get beat 6-0.
Yeah.
Whereas Leicester come out against Chelsea away and go, all right, we're going to go high press them.
Yeah.
And who knows what will happen? And then they score a goal early, and all of a sudden Chelsea's going, what do I do here? And
We can't be beat by these guys.
I think for me, the Premier League's the best league in the world because bottom can beat top on any given day.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, the relegation battles the most exciting.
But you don't think it's off this year? You don't think it's a little off this year? Like, and I don't just mean because Leicester's up top. I just mean in general. It just feels, the play just feels off. Maybe
I think it's just
I don't.
it's a different style.
Yeah, I don't see a Premier League team winning the Champions League for quite some time.
Okay.
I think they're way off the top 3 or 4 clubs. Any of the Premier League teams.
I think they don't play the Champions League because if you look at Real Madrid, they have 10 easy games in a row. They maybe get beat off of Barcelona, maybe or whatever, and then they go play Champions League. So they're pretty fresh, right? The Premier League teams are getting battered twice a week.
Yeah.
And then they go play Real Madrid, and they're like, "Shit, we get battered again." Like, that's my opinion. I think
Like, where's the time to rest for a top?
most
three
leagues
team
will
in the
do it.
world?
Like Germany does a winter break.
Yeah.
Spain does it a little bit. England don't do it.
I know they've been talking about the idea of having a winter break, but some, like, obviously TV kind of rules everything.
Listen, at home it's amazing because you have a game every day, all the way through Christmas and New Year. So it's phenomenal.
It's because you have like 5 divisions to watch.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean, Arsenal, if you go, like, Arsenal just played Barca.
Yep.
And for me, Arsenal are probably one of the best passing sides in the Premier League.
They play tomorrow. Or is it Wednesday?
I think it's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
But,
The second leg.
Yeah, the second leg. But, I mean, it was a lesson in football, the way Barca kept the ball. And that's against probably the best passing team in England.
That's what
So
they
for
do.
me, there is... I agree with Nicki. The Premier League is grueling. The season's long and tough with no break. And it doesn't help them coming into midweek fixtures in Champions League. But I still think the quality level from the top 3 or 4, Barca, Madrid, Munich, and PSG, right now are probably the big 4. And I think any of the Premier teams are a little bit off that.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, it's one of those things too where it's exciting to see a lower team succeed, but I agree with you that for probably a good 5 years, there isn't going to be an English team that gets even close to a Champions League
The only
final.
way we can
Ronaldo's going back. You can have him. I'm just kidding.
the only way we can make sure we're sure about this topic is maybe get one of the Premier League teams over in the summer and we'll play them in the 11th. No,
Hey, Arsenal's going to be here for the MLS game.
get them over.
I'll play him. I don't
You're
care.
like, you know what? Let's chop up the NASL season, have them come and play like a summer.
international friendly though is one of the things I look forward to the most during the season. It's a game that really does.
Are you guys having one this year? Do you know?
There's been a few
There's talks of it.
The last year it was Morelia from a Mexico side that came in. and played.
I think it's a lot easier to bring a Mexican team up than it is to bring one of the Premier League teams over. But
I think from a ticket sales standpoint, especially with the Hispanic community in Indianapolis, it's much better to get a Mexican team or a Spanish team to come over just because of that draw to the stadium. And it, kind of harking back to what we talked about earlier too. When you guys came, you guys have both played here before, correct?
Yep.
Was that one of the pulling factors too when you were like, hey, you're going to go to Indy, and you're like, oh sweet, I get to play it. Now I get actually play in front of that home crowd versus having to be screamed at the entire time by 10,000 people.
We got some really good chants too for you.
Yeah, we have. There's a new chant with your name in it, by the way.
I like that.
not happy about this.
We didn't say it was good.
We can change it to Falverson.
We just Hollywood couple that?
I think so. Yep.
They're a Hollywood couple now.
You heard it here
Falverson.
Joining us on
That's it.
Falverson.
Boom. Done. Okay. Moving on.
I enjoyed coming here last year. This is a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely looking forward to having them on my side. That's for sure.
Right.
And hopefully we give them something to cheer about. As I said, go back to this now. I think it's time that we start producing some results. The club is 3 years old now, so it's got to show something.
Right.
I want to go back to the what other sports do you guys like to watch? Like, what are your, other than soccer?
I like watching the majors at golf for the most part. Any of the British tournaments, the majors at tennis as well. Follow Andy Murray a little bit. I like watching the playoffs and almost anything really. I mean, You can watch an NBA game and then you can watch the playoffs. It's like watching two different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even get into hockey a little bit this year. So
What about this week? So this week is a big week here in the United States, obviously, March Madness. This is, for me...
I'll be doing my bracket, don't you worry.
Yeah, okay. See, so what's funny
We
is...
could do a permanent relegation bracket where we get some players and fans and
thing
stuff.
is, Colin, usually you get money back for the worst bracket, so he makes it the worst bracket every year on purpose just to get his money back.
That's your tactic. 1 year it's going to pay off. I knew it would.
Colin picks this team's based off if he likes the mascot or not.
That mascot's pretty... That mascot would definitely kill that
It's the
other
warmest
mascot.
weather.
Yeah, exactly. But no, this is obviously a huge week here. And on Thursday you figure, so we got St. Patrick's Day, which is so funny that, obviously.
So Paddy's is this Thursday?
Yes, it's this
I
Thursday.
didn't know.
I know, right? Okay.
His wedding anniversary too.
That's
by
my
the way.
wedding anniversary.
He got married on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. I mean, you come from Larkin family, Murphy, McMinnis, right, and ball side. We're all like, it's really
Ball
funny.
side.
Yeah, the ball. Yeah, the ball, which is like English.
Ball
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
You got 3 kids from the
I
ball
did.
side.
We did. Yeah. Sure did. Yeah. No. So, no, it was like, it made sense at that point. It was like, when are we going to do it? And then plus, I can never forget it. I will never get in trouble for forgetting my anniversary.
Yeah, that's true.
Genius.
Best part about his wedding. This is a side tangent about Chris's wedding.
Oh, man.
Because we went down. Have you guys been to Broad Ripple at all yet? Here in Indy.
Either eating or anything.
Okay, so Broad Ripple's kind of
Quiet
like the party street of Indianapolis, I guess, where a lot of bars are just kind of lined up. Big St. Patrick's Day goings on in Broad Ripple. So him and his
I
wife.
feel like he's trying to get us in trouble here.
No. That's just a story about that. Him and his wife were getting pictures down there because there's a lot of beautiful scenery and very old.
And some graffiti. My
Yeah.
wife really wanted some stuff with like graffiti. No joke. Like really, because there's some good taggers down there. That tag some stuff. She's like, I want photos in front of this. Okay, sounds good.
So here's this wedding party, all in tuxes, while everybody's out with their green hats and like giant oversized green shirt.
And side, we went to Butler because she played all 4 years goalkeeper at Butler. So you guys will be playing Butler.
She's a keeper then.
Oh yeah, she's a keeper. That's what I said. She's a keeper. It's funny. So she's out there in her dress. She's out there in her dress, and they're peppering balls at it. All she's in her dress, and so it's like, so you can take action shots, and I'm like, I love this.
So anyway, he rents a party bus for the bridal party and the groom's party.
Gotta drink
We're
whiskey.
down in Broad Ripple, basically
Yeah.
going like the groomsman while he's getting pictures taken with his wife. We're going into random bars, taking shots with people.
I'm looking. I'm like, where did my guys go? I look across the street. They're all in the bar. Hey! I'm like, oh. My.
like this guy's getting married today.
So this week, starting there, and then that's the start of the tournament. So I mean, you have like here locally, you're gonna have Indiana, you're gonna have Butler, and you're gonna have Purdue all playing on the same day, back to back on St. Patrick's Day. Like, if there's a day to get out,
We're in pre-season and we have a game on Saturday, so
oh, that's true. Oh,
Yeah, but
man.
you got the game on. You have a game on Wednesday,
And then you come back,
so
right?
you might have a day break on
Aren't
Thursday.
you coming back on Thursday?
come back. We're getting at like 2 a.m. on Wednesday.
It's not falling on a good day for us.
Well, you guys are playing in Evansville on Wednesday.
Can you imagine asking my wife, "Hey, by the way, on Thursday I'm going to."
Maybe we can find it.
I'm gonna go to Chatham and watch the games.
Or right, yeah. No, we're gonna head over to Murphy's. I think we're gonna head over to Murphy's.
Unfortunately, Paddy's Day always falls at a terrible
Random.
time. It's one of my favourite days of the year. I've
course.
definitely enjoyed it in years past, but we'll make up for it when we win in the
What do you
opening
guys
game of
think
the season.
of the Americanized
Yeah.
version of St. Patrick's Day?
Everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
That's right.
Honestly, when I first came over to the States, I still can't believe how big it is over here. Like it's
Yeah.
My first one was in Vegas. That's where I went to school.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah,
And
you
it was
went to
like
UNLV.
5 days in a row. I was going on. I had my Celtic strip on for 5 days.
I need time to watch
Coach,
this
I,
thing.
Coach, I won't be in tomorrow.
it's just another weekend for us back home.
It's very true. It's very true. So what
And
do you?
the other thing is, obviously here a lot of people like there was stuff happening downtown this past weekend, and now there's stuff happening
Right.
on the 19th.
Yep.
So they celebrate different
It's a
weekends
whole
here.
bit, yep.
But
We
at
just cash
home,
it
it's,
in, obviously.
yeah,
But it's,
at home it's on the date, and that's it. Like,
The day's over, and then
if you said to
It
somebody,
doesn't
let's
matter
go
if
for
it's
St.
a-
Patrick's Day, and they'd be like, it's tomorrow.
yeah.
That's how they would answer it.
Yeah.
Because the U.S. finds a way on anything that's good to make money off of it. That's what
Halloween
we
is a
do.
week-long affair.
Yes.
Like the bars are full.
Christmas
but it
is
falls
like
midweek,
3
then
months.
They get 2 weeks.
Christmas is 3
Christmas
months.
is 3 months.
Right.
My wife's birthday, it lasts forever.
Dude, Just accept that,
Thank
shake
you.
your hand, go, yes.
Accept that and move on.
Right.
We got a Twitter mention. Someone says from a Neek Christian.
Oh, my God.
Said, I'm trying to find the right trash talk, but in all seriousness, class acts for both these guys. Barely.
He does.
He's actually thought
I know.
He's actually talking nice about you guys.
He did. He goes, a class act for both
Christian's
of you.
actually hosted this show a couple of times.
Oh yeah.
He was sick really bad one time, had like really bad food poisoning or something, and I called Christian up to come sit, have the show with us.
Yep, he's been on the show more than anybody. Which is
Christian,
funny.
almost the same thing. Like when we were in Charleston, he was in Rochester.
Yeah.
And we usually beat them. But
It's because Christian was in goal, right?
he done honestly in Rochester he was goalie of the year. He had a phenomenal season in
Yeah.
one of our years
Oh,
in
yeah.
Charleston. He did like 8 shutouts in a row or something, and he was goalie of the year. And so kind of that respect was there from there. And when I first signed here, he was one of the first guys I asked where should I live, and does he that? And very good guy. And
He
wish
didn't
him well in
tell you
Minnesota.
Whitestown, did he? Or Brownsburg?
Yeah, he was like, you should live over there, and I was like, that's like 40 minutes from anything.
Right.
It's where he lived. So
I know,
it was like
I'm
one of
like,
those things
what are
was
you
like,
doing,
dude,
man?
just live in Carmel or Fishers or something.
You ever seen like a 6'5" German guy get out of like a Honda Civic? It's like the funniest thing ever. Think of a tiny Honda Civic. Yeah, exactly. He
Kind
gets
of like what it was like.
Hey! Right.
That was always pretty funny, though.
It was always yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I drive a Honda car because it's the official sponsor, but then it's like the smallest car you can
ever.
possibly find.
I'm like, oh, he's gonna be rolling in like a truck or something. No, that's him in a 1984 Yugo. It's right there. Christian just hopped out of a Yugo. Right. Exactly.
That'll be an interesting game. Couple of games when Minnesota comes to Indy, especially with like he was basically the Nicki of Ottawa, where you were the first signing over there, and he was the first signing here, so he's like the face of the team for a while. So it'll be an interesting reaction to him coming back over here. So, but a class act too. Christian's a class act.
Good guy.
Okay. So
Very good guy.
we don't want to keep you guys forever because I know you guys got a trip and all that. So
That's tomorrow.
Oh,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah, it is tomorrow. I know. No, it's funny is I'm heading to Evansville tomorrow as well, like actually for work, and I got to cut over to Louisville. So woo.
Not to make your heads bigger, but we moved the show for you guys.
We did. We moved
Because
it
you were
just
going
for
to leave tomorrow.
You guys are amazing. No, so okay. All right. So what do you?
We'll see if you ever ask us back on.
No,
We will. We'll see if you ever want
What are
to
you
come
doing
back
next
on.
Monday?
Right, yeah. Let's flip that around. I think it'll be.
we'll see
Would
if
you
you
ever want to come back
Clutter's
on?
gonna be like, hey, they want you back. You're like, no, I'm busy. I got a kid. My kid's sick.
Yeah, exactly. So, and obviously, yeah, you need to get home before your wife starts beating you.
He'll be in
So-
bed by the time I get back, so
There you go.
Planned out
you
correctly.
better be.
So, what do you expect from the fans this year? What do you want to see from us? So we know you guys have already mentioned it. It's funny you came out like aggressively saying, "No, we have to produce. We have to do.
And
We get that."
and we desperately want you to produce.
Yes,
And
but
can
what
I
do you
be very
expect
honest?
us?
I
Yeah.
think it is very one way. We have to produce now. I don't think you can. I mean, it's easy to say the fans should be support because essentially they're supporters, right? So they should be supporting no matter what. But
Which we do.
I think after a couple of years of not the most success, it's about time that things turn around. And for me, whenever I've been here, it's always been a phenomenal atmosphere. And I think a few wins, it's only going to get even better. And then people can start to be proud to be Indy fans, and then we can go from there. But I think first and foremost, it's all about producing on the park, first of all.
The thing is, hopefully it's not going to be a slow start, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was because of so many turnovers. So what I would say is,
Patience.
a little bit of patience, but definitely we're well aware that we need to produce something to give you guys, give you guys something back. So
Yeah.
I think we're here. Honestly, none of us would have came there, especially new guys or the guys who've restayed. No one would be here just for the sake of it. Everyone wants to win. It's the bottom line. That's it. And I do believe coming here that I can win a championship. So that's what we're going to try.
That's
to
what
do.
Ursal thinks. So yeah.
Well, I mean, realistically, we played together for 4 years. We won a championship, we lost a championship game, and we lost in 2 semi-finals.
Yeah.
So I would say we're guaranteed playoffs.
Anything that's not like fourth round is a failure.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We might as well throw in the Open Cup as well. So. Nicki scores in every round of the Open Cup. You need to check this out.
Yeah.
I think how many years is it now?
I had 5 years in a row and scored in the Open Cup, which was a modern record. But then obviously I went to Ottawa, so I'm hoping they give me this year as like a rebuttal.
Yeah. So
Make it six
so they're
in a row.
basically saying the Ottawas are the asterisk in your Open Cup
Yeah, I mean, it's more of
scoring.
a gap year as opposed to.
Let's just call it an injury year.
It was an injury year.
Exactly. I'm saving myself for this year.
Hey, whatever. It's just like a kinked hose.
But
Just
no, I
let it
mean,
go.
going back to what you just said there, the thing is, we could essentially be 5-0 at one point, right? Just for touch wood, but you could come up against the team that's bottom of the league and lose. That's the type of league that
This
the
league is
NASL
right,
is. It's,
Yeah.
Anybody can beat anybody in any given day. It's the Americans' version of the Premier League, you could call it, and there could be a Leicester City this year. It may as well be Indy,
Yeah, I agree.
I think the
Why
thing,
not? I like that. Yes.
the biggest
I'll
thing
be 40.
you got
I'll be the
look.
big C.
you got
I'll
the
be
looks.
big Z.
Robert Hughes.
I think the big thing that a lot of people are surprised about, especially that are used to it. I can't. I'm trying to push right through it. I can't. Right.
We're trying to be professional here. We just can't push through that. Right?
Some lads are bigger than others.
In the shower.
Your mom's been telling stories about me again, huh?
Oh! It took a second. I was like,
I was like, he didn't just say that, did he?
That's a Braveheart joke.
yeah.
Why
don't you keep making Braveheart jokes to the Irish guy?
I know.
This is really
It's
funny.
okay.
Well, I mean, the Irish were desperate to be friends with the Scottish. If you ever watched
The
Braveheart, you know?
Irish was the crazy one in Braveheart.
Do you know
Yes.
Braveheart was actually shot in Ireland?
Well, it makes sense.
I knew that.
A lot of it anyway. But
But yeah, the craziest guy in Braveheart,
Yeah.
Irish. It's my island.
It's my island.
Sure, didn't the big fella upstairs send me to watch her back?
And he had that, like that really crazy laugh.
Yes.
But that was one of the first things that I ever experienced when I came to the States. And obviously 2005 seems like 50 years ago now.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh God,
People
it
were
feels
like,
like 50 years ago.
Where's your kilt? Or like do you know anyone that was in Braveheart? Is that kind of what your house is like? Do you guys have cars over there? Like,
Oh my God! Yeah.
Is there pots of gold at the
know-
end of the rainbow?
Actually,
yeah.
still one of my favorite actors of all time is Ewan McGregor. Honestly,
I take it you've seen Trainspotting then.
yeah, but actually, he had a really, really good documentary they did where it was him and his best friend, where they took BMW bikes. They rode from
Across the
Scotland
States.
all the way down to South
Yeah,
Africa.
yeah, I've watched-
From
I've
Scotland,
seen
they did the States, but they did all the way down to South
Oh
Africa.
yeah, that's
I've seen
amazing.
this very-
That was good. I mean, it's just could you see him kind of a normal route, but starting in Scotland, you go, man, that's it's
I
great.
watched the Beckham thing that he done something similar in
Yep.
different continents. and
Yep.
all that.
It's good. So, I do want to ask you: are either one of you fight fans? And
Yes.
you watch MMA? All right. So,
I was at not the one just gone. I was at the last McGregor fight.
okay.
So
So
the one he beat.
The Aldo in like 7
Aldo?
seconds.
Yes, 13,
You were there, really?
13 seconds.
Okay.
I was there.
We're MMA guys, so we can
huge.
talk about
This is actually how we started the show was MMA. So,
Okay.
There's a fighter named Chris Lytle who's been on the show. He's a UFC fighter, but he's from Indy.
Okay.
with 170,
I'm
and
not fighting him.
no,
That's your next question.
No.
I mean, it actually
I
depends how
almost
much depends how much money is involved. Actually,
You guys MMA guys or boxing or both? Or
yeah, no,
Well,
I'm
think about
a
it.
boxing guy, right? I'm boxing in
I mean,
MMA.
I grew up obviously loving boxing. I think
Yeah.
boxing was huge. But
Yeah.
UFC you can see slowly just
Yeah.
well, it's not slowly,
it's become
rapidly,
more. It's become more. I think.
Mainstream.
It's popular and it's
I think a lot as well. The big big characters in boxing have
Yep.
kind of gone out of it.
Yeah, they really have.
There's not
Right.
really massive fight you get excited
not
in
many
boxing.
good
For.
American
Except for
boxers a
Triple
long
G. I still love watching. I want to see Triple G go in with his hands down because he's an idiot, just because he thinks he could just run up on anybody. Triple G for right now is like the fight I want to see constantly. He's that fighter. And for me, McGregor. So
time. Still undefeated,
3 years ago,
right?
this is. You can hold on to this. No, because let's put it this way. It's yes.
You can smell it already.
Yes, because it's St. Patrick's Day, because it's my anniversary week, plus it's
You got water there, don't you?
Yeah, I mean you're good.
Cluter's gone.
Yeah.
This thing
Anyways.
is all going.
Just bring the bottle over. Man.
Right.
You're like,
Because once I do one,
you don't have a game
it's
till
over.
Wednesday.
So
You're
it's gonna
okay.
hit your lips now.
It's done. Might as well just keep going.
Just
So,
need to make a quick text
Yeah.
to the coach to say we'll be back on Friday.
right, this is going to be a long St. Patrick's Day.
Coach Hank's never going to come on this show now.
So how big, honestly? Obviously, we hear. So when McGregor came in, honestly, it followed him before he came in the UFC. But he talked big as soon as he got in, and it's funny to see the switch. Dana White immediately was, this kid needs to fight. First, because he blew his knee. He blew his knee out, and it was like, well, he needs to fight. And then we could start talking about, because he was already talking about selling out football stadiums over in Ireland, and I could do this and I could do that. Then he came in, it's been this weird whirlwind where every fight you go, okay, maybe he hasn't necessarily fought top-end talent yet. Maybe he hasn't. It's been big here, and it's really caught on, but how big actually has it been back home?
Huge.
Maybe.
Bigger, yeah. I think, honestly, until he came and until he started getting some wins and stuff like that, nobody in Ireland watched, or back home even watched UFC. No, it was like, what? No, that's terrible. That's just sports stupid.
Yeah.
Right? But when he came in now, it's huge. Like, there's every bar is like charging like covers to get in, like just so these like fights now. It's massive. He's put it on the map, to be honest.
I honestly think he's the smartest guy in the whole company, because he knew that it was on the rise. He knew that he was essentially the only guy, and not the only guy in Britain, but one of the top talents.
Yeah.
And you can see it by the way he dresses, the cars he drives.
His Rolls Royce.
He knows no matter if he's good or bad, every single person in Ireland will love him.
Yeah, boxing is huge in Ireland. Like everyone's brought up like you actually do. A lot of people are brought up like doing it. It's actually great training as well. Sure. But it's so big there. But as I said, it's kind of tapered off now because there's not many really big fights anymore.
Right.
Big name fights, and I think McGregor knew that. He jumped on it on UFC, and he said, I can actually put it
this way, it's like Paddy's Day every time he fights.
Yeah.
Well, he made $1 million off of a non-title fight in something that's not even his weight class.
And I think he blew the last fight, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He blew his load in the first round.
I kind of wish he
He's going up against a guy who can take punches like
I think he
nobody's
took
business.
too big a risk there.
And
Too big,
I saw it as a
fast.
lose.
He didn't want to let his
There's no
fans
win
down
in
there.
that.
Well, give him credit. He jumped in the ring. He wasn't backing down from
And
there.
I'll tell you what,
If it was anybody
bashed
other
him up
than
the first round.
if it was anybody other than a Diaz,
Right.
he would have been fine.
Yeah.
But
Diaz has just come at you, and they
Diaz
take
is
punches and punch
He's just
and
a
punch.
bum that's been punched a million times. That really, his face was bashed up, but he wasn't beaten.
well, he's also one of those guys who's been born
in
and
wars
raised in the
constantly.
fight in the fight game, and he knows how to. He's that Anderson Silva guy where he knows how to roll with punches. So as a guy's punching him, it's
getting more and more railed up.
It's gonna bust him up a little bit, but it's not gonna have that impact.
Also, I don't think Conor had the same impact at 170 that he does at 145.
The
right?
punches that he'd hit him with in round one would have knocked out anybody in his own weight class.
Oh, absolutely.
But when you're going up against a guy who's 170 and his
185, he was 185.
fighting at 185.
Listening to him though, his interviews afterwards.
He was very humble.
Yeah,
He was very good.
I was
had to
curious.
be, though.
I was curious though to see how he was going to go with it.
Like if he's
And
going to make an
fair play to me.
excuse or anything like
Fair play
that.
to him, he just said, "No,
His next fight's going to be the biggest fight of his career.
Well, yeah.
It's either going to make him or break him at that point.
I'm tired of seeing this non-Frankie Edgar fight. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it
I
needs-
want to see
needs to
Frankie
happen.
Edgar.
I'm not even bothered with Aldo because he just doesn't bring it to the table for me.
Nah, we're big old WEC guys, and Jose Aldo, seeing all the battles that weren't even battles because he just made people look like chumps forever, kind of the way Conor has coming up. I honestly, seeing that fight with Conor McGregor was like the weirdest thing. It was like a shock and awe for me because that was like 10 years of watching this guy just dominate and kind of go. It's like the first time watching Weidman take out Anderson Silva, and I was like, this is fake. Like, no, he didn't get knocked out, man. I've seen him do this 100 times. Like, this isn't real. And then now all the way to Bisping just this past.
But listening to his interviews after the thing, I think he wish he could have the fight back over because I think he done some
He
things.
wouldn't have done all his flying spin kicks and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I
See the way
think
he walked
he.
into the ring, we say that he's too confident.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me, him, and the Big Z were watching it together. We found a little
Z.
spot in Arizona. Because the whole team wanted to see it, but we were like, we're not missing this. This just
Right.
doesn't happen.
Sure, yeah.
We actually drove 30 minutes,
Although the Big Z wore an American flag on his T-shirt.
which we say.
Why would
to
he?
this day,
Why would he do that?
We think he hexed him.
That's what we said. The Big Z killed him.
Like, Eamon's a huge Conor McGregor guy apparently from his Twitter account where he's
No,
just
he
like,
is.
well, then why would you wear an American
We need
flag?
to get a hold of this shirt. Maybe I'll wear it in his show when he's on.
Conor McGregor's going to show up at his door.
Do you remember the way he
They're
walked
gonna
into
fight
the ring?
again,
He
though.
was all this, all the big.
But that's how. I mean, that's one of those things though, where every one of
not
his
on fight
fights.
day.
Well,
He can talk shit all he wants, but see when it comes to fight day, you do what we do, and you.
I said it. If you watch him before the Aldo fight, when he was coming out, he
Business.
was business. You could see on his face.
Because he knew he couldn't lose.
Yeah, he couldn't lose after everything happened, right? And when he was coming out for the Diaz fight, he was smiling at the camera and like
He was more worried about
he
the
was
paycheck, though.
So I'll just
$1 million will make
in a
you
way-
feel a little different about
he-
these things.
in my opinion, he need balls because he didn't want to let down his followers who
Yeah.
paid money to go to Vegas,
Sure.
paid for hotel rooms that they would never have got back, right?
Yeah.
Even if the fight was rescheduled,
Well, yeah,
he might have got
yeah.
a good vacation out of it.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
But
It's Vegas still. Come on.
he didn't want to let those guys
Right.
down, and he took a big gamble fighting a guy that's got a big reputation, and it didn't pay off. But
people forget as well. He came up the weight in 3 months. 3 months. I'm sure you've all seen the pictures.
Yes,
of,
yeah.
of-
Oh, yeah.
Like
Him at
We know
145.
all too well about the whole weight cutting
145.
thing.
He looks sick.
Yeah, he does.
he looks
Looks
actually
drawn out. He
looks-
needs to be a 155 guy, honestly.
But this goes
here's
to
the
show,
question,
though,
right? See if they decided to have a rematch, him and Diaz.
No.
in 6 months' time.
Well,
You
they
think
did. No, Dia. They already asked him if he wanted a rematch, and Connor said no.
No, like, see, I know they won't happen.
Okay.
But what I'm asking you is,
That's another-
if he did,
I think it doesn't. I think it's the same result, even worse for Connor. I think because Nate Diaz is a extreme
It's a
planner.
bad matchup.
Nate
It's a
Diaz
bad
was
matchup,
doing
is all it is.
tequila shots when he got the phone call from saying, "Hey, do
Yeah,
you
on
want
the
to fight
beach.
somebody?"
Yeah.
And he's
I
like,
just-
"Yeah, sure, I'll fight Conor McGregor."
I agree with Nicky though. I'd like to see him fight him in
Training for
planning
him.
for-
Training for Nate.
because I
That's
think
it.
he wouldn't go out and I
Yeah.
think he's quick enough that it could cause him a lot of
Yeah,
trouble.
I think there was
I think
enough
he
in
could
the fight.
outpoint him.
Yeah, I think there was enough in the fight to show that he could cause him trouble.
I think
So
he could outpoint him.
I don't think he could win that 170 belt though. I think guys like Robbie Lawler or Rory McDonald would just destroy.
Robbie
But that's the
Lawler
thing.
is-
See, if he had a one, he probably could have had even more of a beating down the road. So
Yeah.
maybe it's a good thing for him. Now he's on the map even more. He took a big gamble. If he
Yeah.
wins his next fight impressively,
Yeah.
then he's back again.
But
You
it's
know?
like, man, but you got to start thinking of that instant strain now. It's like, okay, we need to get you back on before UFC 200. Like, you can't have a UFC 200 without Conor McGregor on that card, right?
you can't have an event without him on it at this point.
Right, right.
I'm saying, I'm being serious.
Yeah,
Like
right.
he is the draw right,
right.
now.
Once Rousey lost, you lost a bunch of money there, and then you go back to having
the
these.
UFC had a nightmare.
They
Right
did.
there.
Yes.
With it, Holly Holm and him winning.
Yeah, it was the
because-
worst possible result.
Oh, Dana White
Dana White's
cried
like, oh
in
my
his house for like weeks.
Dude, so you guys heard, right? So if you were in Vegas and you put $100 on both Misha Tate
Double.
and Nate Diaz, no, and then you put it on the Lakers to beat
The
Golden
Lakers, it
State
was-
the next day, $100 would have paid you $32,000.
I've seen somebody tweet this.
$100 the parlay it, right? I'm like, oh, so. Anyways,
I had 500 on McGregor on the Aldo fight, so it was the quickest 500 I've ever made.
but he was he came in as a favorite though.
Oh,
So
It was just
McGregor did. McGregor came
Against
in as a
Aldo.
favorite against Aldo. He came in as a favorite.
in Vegas, the odds were even money your choice.
Oh, okay.
So it was
Yeah, because for a while there, he was like a plus 100, I think. So he was
Yes.
a little underdog for a little while there, and then evened out right when the fight night started.
right. Yeah, I done it like an hour before the fight. And it was
That makes more sense.
All right.
That makes more sense.
All right, let's.
We'll
Wrap
do
it up.
another hour of just MMA talk. I think.
No, but
It's a
anyways,
soccer
I host.
show, right?
It is,
no, this isn't even a soccer show. It's whatever show.
I host all of them. So I host every fight. So the 75 and Shiva, everybody comes over. So Arch House just come over, drink. We just drink beer, watch fights. That's what we do.
Nice.
So
200 that is.
yep, there you go. It's all right.
There you go.
You good?
I'm good.
All right. So let's do the formalities.
Yeah. So if they want to follow you on social media, how do they get a hold of you? How do people get a hold of you? You guys are pretty active, both of you.
yeah. My Twitter's @Falvey32, same as my Instagram. Yeah. So
Okay.
Actually, he says follow me on IG. I was like, oh, that must be Instagram. I get it. This dude's too hip for me. Hit me on the DM.
I've heard the Big C's got an unbelievable Instagram account.
oh yeah, you need to check that out.
Okay.
I need to ask him about that. And then for me, I'm on the same name on everything. It's at Nicki Paterson 8.
We're not going to tell Eamon that we talked about him at all when he comes on the
We
show.
won't tell him that either. I don't even speak to him on a daily basis. But
Only on Twitter when he mentions
All right.
you, right?
Let's take
Oh, yeah.
this.
Let's take this, guys. Thanks for coming.
cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Appreciate you guys.
Anyway, follow us on Twitter @PR Podcast Show, @Cage Fear,
At Cibala,
Glory, Man United.
Hala Madrid.
No, Glory, Man
I
United.
hate you so much.